All right, it's December 6th. I've been told by people in the know it's another fantastic Christmas calendar with GRTV. Bit of a sad one today, unfortunately. We're talking about departures, memoriams, people that have unfortunately moved on to bigger, better things, or perhaps into the great outdoors. Just
almost feels like we're going to talk about people who have passed away now, but that's not quite the...
It tugs the heartstrings, I have to say. Though not every single highlight, shall we say, of the year has been so incredibly heartfelt. But for me, I mean, we're going to talk about the figures that have really defined this year, but I actually wouldn't mind starting with Studio Liverpool. Because I think for me personally, as an avid Wipeout fan, I mean, I picked up the PS1 for Wipeout and I've stuck with that series through thick and thin. To finally see, not finally see, but to hear that the studio had closed down after releasing the fantastic Vita launch Wipeout was a real shame. And I think to see the replies, the Twitter responses, and certainly even replies on their official Facebook page was just overwhelming. And I think it really showed that whilst it's not really Psygnosis anymore and Studio Liverpool maybe aren't the same staff members as the original core team, there's a lot of fond memories there, and I think that's a large chunk of the PlayStation era has just disappeared. And really, I mean,
even if Wipeout lives on, it's still the end of an era. So
it's still not Wipeout properly. Do you know, I almost got a tattoo done. I'm still thinking about it. All that amazing Designers Republic artwork that they had through the first three games, I was actually going to get like one done up my leg as a sort of like, and I've never had that, never thought about doing that with games before.
I know, how much would that increase your speed?
If I had ice skates, I would go, man. I would go. But it's not the only closure or departure this year.
I think one of the more sort of publicized and massive ones was 38 Studios that just crashed and burned after Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. Of course, both big, huge games and 38 Studios. Kurt Schilling, the Major League Baseball pitcher, he had a vision. And he had, he tried to get as much money as possible. He got Rhode Island to give him a lot of money and to fund the studio. The problem was just that he needed more. And the money was the company was bleeding badly, and they couldn't find more backing. And also, I guess, like the whole sort of MMO scene is like to try and pitch a subscription-based MMO in the region of $100 million for budget, it's hard. And there are so many stories about it, but it's just such a spectacular, I mean, it's almost like, I guess Real-Time Worlds is the closest thing I can think of in terms of like just crashing and burning and you know, such a short time.
It's even that with Kingdoms is an absolutely fantastic game.
It's a great game.
It's just, it's different if a first project comes out and it's pretty poor. This wasn't. There's a lot of high hopes for it, and it really... I'm interested to see if there's actually anything comes of that Copernicus MMO, if anyone ever sort of tries to salvage this. I think it was a little bit, it was not far enough along, perhaps, for it to be like a feasible thing for, one of those free-to-play farms to just take up. But yeah, they went out of business, and we also had Radical. When they finished Prototype 2, they went out of business. But there's also another thing, that's a lot of important people have left their positions this year and sort of left the studios that they founded and left, or defined, perhaps, better word for it. You see Cliff
Bleszinski. We don't really know where he's going.
He did do a series of comedic tweets, we assume to be comedic, at various studios around the world. And he sort of tweeted a few things about how helping studios improve their IP and everything like that. But God knows, maybe that's it. Maybe he just wants a vacation. He's fed up with chainsaws and blood and locust.
I guess he started at Epic as like 17 or something like that.
Man.
So he deserves a vacation.
It's one of those things, you look at it and go, if you want to take a break, fair play to you.
Yeah. Of course, we had a couple of doctors leave the industry as well.
Unfortunately so.
According to
ran out.
Yep, they left the industry altogether. I think Greg Shishak, he's doing beer documentaries, and Ray Maizuk is trying to improve the world basically in different projects. He wants to be a social entrepreneur, help help companies that have a social agenda or trying to help out in a social way.
I would say the weird thing is, like you said, it's people that have defined these franchises. Mass Effect is continuing, Gears of War is continuing, but even though it's 1, 2 people, it's key personnel that you will reflect on and think the games won't just be quite the same.
You just have to wonder how different BioWare will be under someone else's management than what they were. I mean, we're already seeing, when they were there, BioWare changed a lot with the EA purchase and how it was split up, and now the new Mass Effect is being done by Montreal. It's not the same BioWare anymore, and it just puts the exclamation mark on that with those 2 guys leaving. Yeah. And third, final guy who left this year, can you remember?
No.
No? Peter Molyneux?
Oh yeah, Molyneux.
So long time ago.
That guy, so long ago. No, I'm jesting, really. It was really weird that actually talking about Showcase again, that I actually interviewed Molyneux maybe a couple of weeks before he actually quit, and at that point it was obviously on the way out, and I remember sort of asking him about what the future held for Lionhead.
I think the future at the moment is we've got Heroes. I don't know if we've announced a release date. Have we? No, we haven't announced a release date. Coming sometime soon. And then we've got Journey, so that's a real focus. And then I'm sure there's going to be sort of lots of exciting projects coming out of Lionhead in the future.
And the way he said it, now, again, retrospect, you think about the way he phrased it. He said, I'm sure whatever they do, they'll do well. And it was very much that distinction of like them, as in me versus them. And just seeing him going on. But again, maybe not bigger and better things, more diverse things that he was working on.
A little bit more freedom, perhaps, than what he had at Lionhead. There are some other studios and people we should mention, like Zipper Interactive, for instance, went out. What else was there?
Who else?
The final guy left Infinity Ward, Robert Bowling.
Yes, there we go.
I'm not sure that he qualifies to be mentioned in like Cliff Blasinski and the BioWare Doctors and Peter Molyneux category, but he's got some new great ideas coming, and he was sort of that final guy that people recognized from Infinity Ward that was still left there.
Yeah.
So,
it's just such a shame. I mean, it's happening every year. I mean, the worst thing is we've come to accept it now.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, in the next 12 months, who's going under?
Actually, when I was looking through, researching for this show, I thought it would have been even worse than it was. You know, I thought it'd been more studios closure, but it's been ongoing for a few years now, and maybe we got a few more before things start to pick up again. But I guess there's always this turnover in the industry as well.
Well, hopefully we'll have something a bit cheerier to talk about tomorrow anyway. That's us for today. Oh, it's enough. Hang on, we're going to get our newest indie darling up and ready, and also we will have Emily with today's competition, and come back tomorrow for all new exciting Christmas calendars shindigs.
So yeah, the indie game I've been playing recently, I've been playing actually a lot of strategy games, obviously for research for Company of Heroes 2. One I found really interesting was sort of an indie title called Hex Empire. It's basically Risk meets Advanced Wars, and it's kind of, you defend your capital city of your empire using these little hexagonal blocks that you can sort of only move and sort of fire from limited positions. It's a really interesting game. It's very different from anything I've played recently, and I highly recommend people giving it a try.
That was a trailer for Viking Battle for Asgard. Today my question is, what game series is the developer Creative Assembly best known for? If you think you know the answer, write us an email at xmas@gamereactor.eu with the answer in the subject line. Make sure we get your email before 12 noon tomorrow, Central European Time, for a chance to win Battle for Asgard on Steam. Best of luck!